coming off of this road trip, 3 wins out of it, but just your overview from it.
Yeah, no, I like I said, there's some good stuff that we're getting better at, and there's still stuff we still have to work on. It's still early in this season, so did a couple of little walkthroughs today on some of the stuff that happened last couple of games. But I think for the most part, obviously scoring some goals last few games, getting some depth scoring. I thought the Bluger line's been really good for us the last couple of games. So yeah, overall, chipping away at our game.
For everything you've wanted out of Brock, he's off to a fast start. What do you make of it?
Yeah, he's just a goal scorer. He knows where to go at certain spots. That's a sign of a really good player. He could play 30, 35 minutes. You don't notice him for a while, and then all of a sudden he scores a goal. Like, that's one thing. It's hard to find those type of guys.
What did his power play goal last game? I mean, the feed from Miller, he's there in the dirty area high, gets the depth deflection. Yeah. Does that speak to all, not just his strengths as a goal scorer, but his positioning and his IQ and the way he's reading the game?
Well, yeah, I think we're a little, sometimes the power play has been something that we're still trying to work with, in the sense that, you saw the play, Hughes made a great play to Miller, and we attack right away. We go downhill, it gets to the net, we score. That's the more the goals we need to get than more the setups. And I think, Brock going to that position, Millsy can either shoot it or you got the shot pass. So anytime you attack, there's 2 or 3 options. Whatever option you take, attack, and I think that's a key to our power play.
How much has he evolved as a total player from the guy you're very curious about when you got here to what he is today, especially his play without the puck?
Yeah, I think for me, his practice habits and I think a year or two ago, I think when I talked to him, he changed his summer workout, and I thought his practice habits have really gone a couple of levels, and I think that's helped him. I think, I don't know how he practiced before, but I've really liked the last year in a way he's practiced.
About PD, the line looked a little more noticeable in the last 2 games, but, just 2 assists through 6 games and no goals. Just where's his game at?
Yeah, I think he's just chipping away at his game. I think everybody knows that we got to get him to move his feet. And when he has the puck, make some plays in the sense of, I don't care if he makes a mistake. It's being more aggressive. I think a lot of times when he's standing around, he gets in trouble. That's the mental part. We got to keep working with him. But I think that line has done a nice job for us. I think Garland's helped him. So we'll see where that line goes.
Garland and Hodge are very energetic type players. How does he fit with them?
Yeah, Garland drives a lot of the play. And I think when you play with Garland, if you like Dakota has good success on, you got to be near him. You got to be willing to move around with Garland. If you're standing around, it's probably not a good, so I think Petey's starting to understand if I move around, and Petey, he moved around a couple times, made some really good plays because of that. So if we get a steady diet of that, Garland likes to have the puck a lot, but you got to move around him so he can distribute the puck.
How much have you talked to him about just the pressure? I mean, obviously when you get a contract like that, there's pressure with it, there's expectation. Have you talked to him a bit about just, not worrying about that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about it here, especially this market, you got to block out the noise. Whether it's good or bad noise, it's you just got to, when you hit the rink here, you got to prepare yourself. Pressure hits you when you're not prepared. If you're not ready to go, or if you're my big speech to everybody is make sure you do your reps, make sure you're in shape, because those things you can control. If you're not prepared, that's when pressure hits you.
A few extra hacks and slashes with him and JT at the end of the sequence there. Do you like that?
Well, from my experience, listen, you don't want players fighting each other, but there's times in a place when you want to challenge the pace of the practice, or there's a certain drill somebody doesn't like or whatever. That's part of the game. It's not a big deal. I've gotten it a few times. You move on, be the first guy to go take a guy to dinner. I'm sure that if there was a scrum tomorrow or Saturday night, Mills would be the first guy to jump in for P. So, not a big deal.
When it comes to Dakota, there's no timeline just yet on his return, but how do you integrate him into the lineup when you have, these lines that are working so well, like the Teddy Bluger line?
Yeah, no, but it's a good problem for me. You're trying to find a puzzle, but you get a guy like Dakota, and I got to get him in a good spot wherever I put him. But I think for the most part, that'll work its way out. He brings a lot of those attributes that we really need on this team. Stuff on the wall, winning battles in front, and then obviously a really good penalty killer.
And Sherwood's off to this historic pace with the hits. What would it mean to have Sherwood and Tocchet in the lineup at the same time for your team?
Yeah, I mean, they're if you ask any defense when they go back for a breakout, they're looking over the shoulder when you see Sherwood or you see Tocchet, those type of guys. Even Garland, he's not a hitter, but more of he comes up with loose pucks. It's still different. RD, when they're under pressure and guys are hitting, it's hard to break out. So that's just something that we're trying to add more to our personality.
Rick, Garland's picked up quite a few points to start the season. What do you think has led to all this success for him offensively?
Well, first is his willingness to change as a player. I mean, I had him in Arizona. He's totally changed. And over the last year, he's really, as much as everybody talks about his offense, he's really turned out to be a good defensive player. Maybe 3-4 years ago, you probably wouldn't have said that. So I give him all the credit wanting to learn. He's penalty killed. Like I'm actually trying to get him in the penalty kill mix, and I think he's done a nice job there. So he's a student of the game. He's always at the rink trying to get better. That's why Gars is preparing himself for those type of these pressure moments, and he's done a hell of a job for me.
Doing a story on Myers and Shen hitting 1,000 game plateau basically within days of one another. Two guys that played junior together in Kelowna, and here they are within 4 days playing 1,000 games. I mean, when you think about it, how crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at both, they both have the same kind of attributes. Tough defensemen, hard to play against, block shots, very rarely get hurt, will fight for their teammates. I mean, they're the same, and to play 1,000 games with that consistency of doing that every night, it's a I got a lot of respect for those two guys.
You remember your 1,000th?
I don't. Maybe it was I think it was against Philadelphia when I was with Arizona.
What did it take you to get
I think I scored a goal too.
What did it take you to get to 1144 though? I mean, the game is kind of different than
What's that?
Rick. You got to 11,144 games. What did it take to get to that level though? It's different games.
No, I mean, listen, you got. I mean, I said it before. You got to have a little bit of luck. There's some great players that have played 800 games. There's some bad luck injuries, but I think you have to have a strong mindset. But you also you got to really be physically fit, and you got to be a student of the game, and you got to constantly improve yourself. And I hate to use the word perfection, but chase perfection. You always, every time you come to the rink, and that's why I say to Mizey, the 2 years I've been here, every day he comes to the rink, I don't think he's wasted a day. And I love that about players like that. They don't waste days. I think the same guys that play a lot, longevity, a lot of years in the league, they don't waste days. They don't waste practices. They don't wait, if you have a day off in the weight room. So I think you have to have that mentality.
How does Mizey's leadership help his teammates feel comfortable on the ice?
I think for me, for Mizey, he's the voice of reason. I find him, if things get a little crazy in the room, he's a guy that when he does speak, it calms people down because I think he has a big voice. And I think it's just the way he works. Like I said, when you watch him practice and give it, he's going to make a mistake, but he's the first guy to admit it and the first guy to go, how do I get better at it? That's why I have a lot of respect for him.
So when he says the boys have been talking, something's coming up, and Mizey knocks on the door, and they want to look at or change.
Yeah, no, he's I've always told Mizey to make sure if there's something that on your mind. But he's he doesn't even have to say the boys. If he feels that he wants to say something, I got no problem with it.
Last game, Hughes under 20 minutes. I think he only did 3 or 4 times the entirety of last season, and he was the 4th highest time on ice defenseman. So how important is it that he gets those under 20 games throughout the season? Yeah,
I think it's big. I think a coach's dream is to evenly distribute the ice time to everybody and win a game. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen because you got to play certain people in different situations. But when I like the way I like the way Branson and Vinny played, and I thought it was obviously Huggy was a big part of us getting the lead. I'm not sure overplaying him in those situations is a smart move. We got to pick and choose when we play him.
Just taking a look over the road trip, 3 wins coming off of that. Looking at it as a whole, how'd you feel coming off of that?
Yeah, I think to get 3 out of 4, we weren't very happy with Tampa, but there's some good that we took out of it, and I think we applied it to the rest of the road trip, and we needed to get out of the hole that we were in. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we can keep building and take into Saturday.
Coming off that, you guys had a longer practice this morning as well. What was the focus in this morning?
I think just get the tempo going and like Tocchet said, get the plain legs out. But I think just to sharpen up on some details, some coverage, and ultimately just sharpening up our team game.
How's the body holding up? You're on a remarkable run of hits right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Definitely looking forward to the off day.
Is that something, I mean, I know that you're a guy that plays physically, but like leading the league by 10 right now, like, is that something you're thinking about? Is it something, a badge of honor to be the hit leader in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had my goals coming in the season of where I wanted to be. I know it's a good start, but it's a long season, and ultimately I think it's more just about the style and identity I want to play with and bring to the line and team. Obviously, it's effective when we get pucks back and we're able to put the puck in the back of the net, but it's from the little things and just playing the right way.
How hard is it to sustain that over 82 games?
Yeah, well, it's a good challenge. It's a fun challenge for me. I'm not looking necessarily at numbers of hits. It's more about playing hockey, and obviously that when the hits present themselves, I'll take them. But the puck's out there too, and I want to make plays first and get the puck back, and then over the time of games, get after their D as much as I can.
Moments where you're kind of maybe taking the odd hack at a goaltender and things like that, like beyond the hits, the under the skin part of the game, how much do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's something that gets me going, and I try to give energy to the fellas whatever way I can. And ultimately, it's kind of the game within the game. It's kind of the part that I've been working at and trying to be more effective at. And like I said, just any competitive advantage that I can give to our team, I'll take.
Is there ever a danger of chasing hits? And I'm not suggesting you've done that, but I think we've seen guys in this league that, as you said, there's a puck out there too. Like, is it important that you don't get caught in that sort of rut of trying to chase some hits just because you're the hit leader?
Yeah, I mean, my game isn't just hitting, right? Like, there's a lot more that I want to bring and impact the game with. Now, in saying that, there's time and a place. When you do hit and go through the body, it's funny how many times we get the puck back. So, and some of the goals like that's it just created from a hard forecheck and kind of getting after their D. So there's a time and a place for them. I know it's funny because I have a good lead right now, but ultimately there's a time and a place, and we want the puck first, not just the body.
And you're on a line right now. Like, it's funny, chemistry, sometimes it takes a while to form. Like, Teddy he wasn't there in camp and played just one preseason game, but it looks like you guys have been playing together forever.
I mean, it's 2 games. Heinen's great poise and great around the net, and Teddy's really responsible. And I think we play simple games, so I think that's enabled us to kind of read off each other and be a little bit more predictable. And ultimately, when we are forechecking to get more numbers to the puck, we usually get the puck back. So.